I've been at ConEd for almost 18 years, and I started off my career as a general utility worker. Since then, I've seen the company transform its business models, as well as the opportunities to be leaders in the clean energy space. How about you? How is it looking at your company?
Yeah, no, we see some of the same things, and I think especially in the shorter term, right? It's like we've entered that space of, we've seen early adoption, we know the technology's ready, but it's really how does it scale? So the big question that keeps coming up is how do we work with our utility partners, whether it's ConEd or anywhere else in the country? How do you take it from, okay, we've proven it works, but how do you actually get customers to adopt these things to work for it? And then how do you also think about it, in our conversations, like how do you make it equitable, right? So like a lot of these things, yeah, we understand that a certain part of the customer base is going to be able to adopt everything like right away. So how do you how do you create scale and create affordability?
Yeah, I think those are some of the biggest challenges, and you touched on something that's very important for us as well as the equity piece and that lens. So focusing a lot of our efforts on the low to moderate income community as well as the disadvantaged communities, or customers that have historically been disproportionately impacted by the fossil fuel industry. So to that end, we put out our first disadvantaged communities report. We're working on the second one, the first of its kind for utility. Being born in the Bronx to immigrant parents, and not having much growing up, right? To give back in a way that lets the community know that we're there to support them, that lets them know that these opportunities are there for them as well, right? Leading by example, um, to make sure that they're healthier communities, that they're more comfortable within their homes, within their places of business, within their places of worship, letting them know that these opportunities are also available for them where they may think that they're not. They may think that they don't have any chance or opportunity to thrive in this industry or even just to be in their community and be happy. So it means everything, at least for me personally.
So if you're thinking about making an equitable energy transition, it's not just who gets the incentive for this heat pump, it's who gets the job to install that heat pump and builds their own contracting business. And so now you're thinking about like they're taking care of not only themselves for that one bill or that year or two of bills, they're taking care of their family because they're actually leveling up in terms of skill sets and career and then being able to set themselves up, I think, for a true energy transition that also kind of actually, addresses equity issues that have been here for a long time.
Yeah, you couldn't be more spot on. I feel like I partially got lucky entering this space. Kind of just taught me everything I needed to know in the learning center about how to operate within my role and my position as a general utility worker up until a mechanic. And now we're trying to give the opportunity out to other kids that are really excited about becoming part of this industry. To that end, we launched the Clean Energy Academy in early 2020, which has about a 70% percentage of its graduates come from disadvantaged communities and priority populations. Those are individuals that were formerly incarcerated or returning citizens, people that were homeless at some points in their lives, military veterans, people with disabilities. And as you mentioned, it's not only so that they could pay their bills today, but creating generational wealth. I've had the pleasure of recently meeting three generations of graduates, same family. You have a father, a mother, and their son, and they each graduated from the academy, and now they're working within this industry. And now they're going to be able to pass this down to their grandkids and other part members of their family, so that they could say that we're doing something that's really good for the community that we live in, and it's providing us economic stability, and it's something that we're really proud of, and we're hoping to advance even more in the future.
I want to dig into that a little bit more. Like what are maybe a specific example of like working with the community organization that really like had an impact and kind of showed through of, had that meaning and sort of like we just talked about in terms of the optimism and like it can get cloudy, but then you have those days where you can really see that impact. And so if you could speak to an example working with a community organization or some other community partnership that just really had an impact on you.
I can speak to one of our partners that I work very closely with, Urban Green Council. So last year we submitted a proposal for funding from the Department of Energy's Building Upgrade Prize, which was selected. For this partnership, we'll also work with Riseboro, who is a property management firm for low to moderate income customers. and we were awarded $400,000, right, to catalyze heat pump water heaters for customers that live and reside within the Justice 40 census tract. I'm happy to report that we just got awarded for the next phase of funding and round, and we're partnering with Daikin on a new technology that is been installed all over Europe to bring it here to New York City for these customers that otherwise would not be able to potentially adopt a heat pump water heater for their homes for their residents. So that's just an example of how these partnerships really form and bond. And we're leveraging the opportunity to work with the federal government on a program that's really going to catalyze meaningful change from an equity lens for this customer base. So it's again a partnership between ConEd, Urban Green Council, who focuses on building decarbonization here in New York City, and also Riceboro. And now we just brought in Daikin as the manufacturer of the equipment.
Well, that's exciting.